boys and girls. In this video, I will be doing today's social studies lesson with you. Now, as you know, we are working on our American Dream unit. And what is the American Dream? Well, let's talk about it. Back hundreds of years ago, that is when people started moving to the United States of America, which is where we live now. And there were many different reasons why people started coming here. So originally there was nobody. It was just empty land. And then over time, there were nomads that came down. Actually, they came across the land bridge into Alaska and then down through Canada and into our country. And then they became the Native Americans. And the Native Americans were the first ones to inhabit our country. And then hundreds of years later was when people started sailing here from other countries. And we learned about back at Thanksgiving time with the pioneers that they were trying to escape their country because they wanted religious freedom. And they had kings and queens that were ruling in their country that told them what they had to believe and how they had to worship and how they had to live and where they needed to spend their money and what jobs that they could have. And the people didn't like that. And so they wanted to be able to come here to America because here in America, they knew that they could believe whatever they wanted to believe. They could go to the churches they wanted to go to and worship the way they wanted to worship. They knew that they could get jobs. As the country was being established and built, there were so many jobs that needed to be filled because the more people that came here, the more not only opportunities were there, but the more need there was for people to do different jobs. If you're a farmer, the more people that come, the more people need food. And so if you make your money in farming, well, that's a great opportunity for you to come to this new land and plant your crops and then sell them to the people. In some countries, there were wars going on. And so for safety reasons, they came here to this country so that they could start over and know that they were safe. People wanted to practice their own religions. They wanted to practice their own politics and styles of doing things. And then other people, they came because they felt they had no other choice. In Ireland, for example, they had what we call a famine. And a famine means that none of their crops would grow and many of them died. And when they had this great potato famine, which was their major crop in Ireland, the farmers weren't making any money. And if they weren't making money, they couldn't take care of their families and they couldn't afford to plant new crops to sell to other people. And so the other people began starving. And pretty soon they had no choice but to get up and move. And so they came to America because word on the street for them was that the streets in America were paved with gold. And that didn't really mean that we had golden streets, but it meant that there were so many opportunities here for safe living and for religious freedom and for making money that people would come here so that they could start over and try to have a better life. You live in America, so you have a very blessed life and you are very fortunate, all of the things that you have. But you have to imagine that hundreds of years ago in those other countries, these people didn't have all that we have today. And so they made the very tough choice to come here, hoping and praying that when they got here, they would find that good life. And so today we're going to do a sheet where we answer some questions about why people came here. And then you're also going to watch a video about Ellis Island. Now, as the people would start coming to this country, and it got to the point where hundreds and hundreds of people would show up a day, they needed a way of controlling who was coming in. And not because they didn't want new people here, but because we needed to make sure that the people coming in were safe. You think about right now what's going on in the world with this COVID-19 and coronavirus. And when people were coming to America, they wanted to make sure something like that didn't happen. And so all of the people that would come here, when they would get off the boats, they would have them stop on Ellis Island, which was an island right off the coast of New York. Remember, right next to it is Liberty Island with our Statue of Liberty, kind of side by side. And when they got to Ellis Island, doctors would look them over and make sure that they were healthy and safe, make sure that they were who they said they were, and then they would record their names so that we knew who was coming into our country. That way, not only did we have a record of who was here, so we knew how many people were here and who they were, but we also knew that they were healthy and that they weren't going to bring diseases or bad things to our country. And so Ellis Island became a way to check people in, if you will. Just like when you go to the doctor's office and you check in at the front desk before you go into the room behind the desk. Okay, when people would come to America, they would stop at Ellis Island and they would check in. And it was a way to, like I said, keep everyone here safe. So it was never about not wanting people here. It was about making sure that the people coming here were coming for the right reasons and they weren't going to bring anything bad to this country. Now, you will watch a video today. It's like a virtual field trip, and it's a man that will take you on a tour and teach you a lot of the history of Ellis Island. So we know that people came here for many different reasons, and Ellis Island was the place where they would stop and check in before they would come to the mainland. So now we can look at the worksheet for today. Let me make myself smaller here. Um, if you have this worksheet out and ready, it says, why did people move to North America? Think about it. So let's go through this together and review what I've talked to you about today. The first one there says, which of these is not a reason that people immigrated? Remember, immigration, we talked about yesterday, is when somebody moves from another country and comes to live in a new country. So which of these is not one of the reasons that people came here to America? A says that people wanted to get a better job. Well, that is a reason. Many people came here looking for better jobs. So we won't circle A. B says people wanted to live in a safe place. Well, that's true. People did want to live in a safe place. Remember, I told you a lot of countries had wars going on, and so they wanted to keep their families safe from that, and so they came here. So we won't circle B. C says people wanted to go on a vacation. Well, vacation, we know, isn't permanent or forever. And when you immigrate somewhere, that's permanent. You're not living there. So we're going to circle C. That is not a reason people came here. They did not come here to go on vacation. Okay? All right, let's look down at the next one now. It says, which country had a potato famine, which caused many people to immigrate to America? Was it Norway, Ireland, or Iraq? If you remember, I told you it was Ireland, so you should circle B, Ireland. Remember, during the potato famine, the crops would not grow. They had many of their potato crops that either died or wouldn't grow, and so they had no choice but to come to a new land to try to start over and make some money. All right, this next one says, what is the name of the island where people had to stop before entering the mainland? Is it New York Island, Ellis Island, or Liberty Island? And I told you it was Ellis Island. So you can circle B, Ellis Island. And the last one there says, which term means moving to a foreign country to live? Is it immigration, traveling, or vacation? It is A, immigration. All right, so boys and girls, once you're finished circling those answers, make sure your name is at the top. If you want to color these immigrants up here that are coming into the mainland, and you can color this United States map down here if you would like, and then take a picture of this and upload it for me to Class Dojo. Don't forget, I also want you to watch the video on Ellis Island. I sent the link in the email this morning with all of your videos of me. I want you to watch that virtual field trip on Ellis Island so you can learn a little bit more about that as well. Okay? I'll see you again soon. Bye.